Hi, welcome back, winners. My name is Michael Broadbent, and welcome to episode 11 of the Outside Bet. The Champions League is here, and there's a free bet from the Championship tonight at the end of this video. And of course, yesterday's bet, the free one in Spain, came in. Great start to our week. As ever, please like and subscribe. Please click the bell icon and click the subscribe if you want to catch up these videos as they come out, because of course they only really have value on the day, except for some of the talking points and evergreen ones. So make sure you click the bell icon so you get notified so that you can bet on tonight's football as per our Championship bet at the end of this game. If you're listening on the podcast, on the audio, which should be live from tomorrow, then please also give us a 5-star review, because that really helps amongst the other betting and football categories. Quick talking points from last night. Manchester United-Everton game was absolutely ridiculous. We went long goals, and then we had a fade into long Man United on those two leans. Double disaster. Number one, Everton get a player sent off really early on, and then number two, they completely outplay Man United, and Man United get what they deserve, which was absolutely nothing. That is some sort of terrible performance from Man U, and will be reflected in the models from this weekend, of course. It was a bad night all round. All of the leans were really struggling, and then we won the big bet. Winning the big bet means the people on the free bet podcast, this one, all win, and the people on our service who receive the WhatsApp messages and or receive the betting predictions, depending on what tier they're on, they all lost. So apologies to all of those, but these things happen. We've been up massively since. And of course, you guys on the free podcast get the free bet, get another winner. That's 5 out of 6. That's 4 in a row last week, 1 in a row to start this week. And here we go again. We went Espanyol, Sevilla long goals. We also gave a lean to Sevilla, and it was 2-1 to Sevilla. I don't want to appear too smug. I don't like those betting podcasts that just talk about how well they've done. And also, I want to say we got away with murder there. Someone called Taggart, if you're old enough. The game was way tighter than we thought it should have been, that we thought it was going to be. Sevilla got something out of the game. I mean, Sevilla deserved to get something out of the game. Their XG was miles superior. That will adjust in the models. We just got lucky. Don't ever think that when you win luckily, that's skill, and when you lose luckily, that's bad luck. The two things are just one and the same. They happen. Football is a high variance game, and as such, these things happen. We're starting to get some colour on the markets for Brazil coming up this week. The games will be played over a week this round. This allows all the games in hand to be played because the season's coming to an end, which will be a shame, and we'll hopefully bring in Japan. And we'll hopefully bring in Korea in the new year. And then we'll also bring in Holland and or Belgium to supplement to make a 6th league. It helps us having 6 leagues on the go. I know we can't in the summer, but it helps us now. We'll have to update our model as we're going along, because some teams are actually playing twice in this game week in Brazil, but that's because they're catching up with all their games. We've got a lean on Wednesday night towards the Atlético Mineiro game. It's not a full bet, but it's on the overs. So you can have a look at those. All the markets will price that way. There's value in there. We won't be betting on it as a full bet. As you know, we don't cover the Champions League with the models, and that's because we don't get enough games, and also we don't get enough consistency in the fixtures. But we do get asked for quick and dirty leans, and so if you want some tonight, there is value. If you want to oppose Chelsea in any way, bets on the draw, bets on Barca, those sort of thing. There's value in the goals markets, long goals of Dortmund and Slavia Prague, those two matches. Now, this is probably because they're slightly unfancied teams, and so Western bookies, European bookies, and UK bookies are probably thinking, don't know who these teams are, lower goals. It's just naive. Those two games should have quite high chance creation, quite high XG creation, and therefore hopefully quite high goals. So have a look at some value there. I suspect there will be value, especially if you can get over 2 goals rather than over 2.5. Depends on how you bet. The Championship fixtures are starting tonight. Sorry about that, Sniff. Championship fixtures are starting tonight and goes on tomorrow night. We've got 2 bets and 2 leans on tonight's games. One of those bets is today's big bet, which is coming up after the break in a moment. And if we look ahead to Wednesday, there's only potentially one big bet. If the value gets eaten up, we've sent that out to our members, that bet today. Our WhatsApp premium subscribers have got that bet already. If that value gets eaten up, then we might not do a pod tomorrow. We might do a pod that reviews the Champions League, etc. And if it does, and if we do include that, we will include this bet. If it's still value, we'll do a free pod, and you can have the bet as a free bet. Because that's what we like to do. We don't like to do a podcast on a daily podcast, an episode of the outside bet, if there isn't a free bet at the end. We sometimes do a talking football podcast, which there'll be one out later today on some things we've seen that are outside of our models. We sometimes do an evergreen podcast, but these ones that are numbered, this is number 11 of the outside bet, they've always got a free bet at the end so that we can be judged, ranked, and show you that we win far more than 50% of our bets, and they all are evens bets. So if you just bet on our free bets forever, you'll be up. I mean, I know you probably haven't got the discipline to do that, but seriously, people do that. So if you want to just have a winning account, just bet on every single one of our bets at evens and win, and hope we win more than 50% of our bets, which we hope that we will do. The point being that if we do a bet podcast tomorrow, it might be ahead of value getting eaten up on the championship bet. So again, I would reiterate the idea of perhaps clicking that bell icon. Right, we're going to timestamp this video at 6 minutes. 6 minutes is the time for the free bet announcement, and we timestamp it because we know you guys who come straight to the end of the video come straight for the free bet and don't bother listening to me waffling on, and that's fair enough. So the timestamp was 6 minutes. If you have just jumped in, we would really, really appreciate if you like, subscribed, and click the bell icon to get tomorrow's or in the future bets. The reason we need that is because if you do it, you get the benefit of it. But if you click the like, subscribe, and bell icon, it's free, but it has a massive value to us to say thank you to us for giving you the free bet every day. So please do click those. And if you're listening on the podcast in the future, please give us a 5-star review. So the Championship midweek slates are very good for us, and the reason are the Championship plays so many games that games tend to turn into a drudge. The drudge turns into a pattern. The pattern turns into our model. Our model just churns out 2 or 3 bets every week that tend to have very good results. Tonight we head to the big winners from this weekend, which is Southampton. We've got the total goals for the games at 3.2 for Southampton's game, which leads us to think that the correct score will be 2-1 to Southampton. But that is actually a rounded up 2-1. It's rounded away from Southampton. We've got Southampton being in supremacy of 1.5 goals. And our WhatsApp members got sent this bet yesterday at a quarter of a goal handicap, but it's now moved towards us and is half a goal handicap. But of course, we always say one clear goal makes a bet. And it's 1.5 goals in our model, and it's half a goal here. So we think Southampton supremacy value on all of the Asian handicap lines, but also if you don't do Asian, if you just do straight high street bookies, anything that's got value on the Asian handicap will also probably have value on all the other lines, whether it's Southampton to win by 1, whether it's Southampton to win the first half, whether it's Southampton chances created, whether it's bet builders with your favourite goal scorers. They will all have implied value in there because the line is off. So that's where we're at. Southampton to win by more than a quarter of a goal. And we will report back tomorrow, and hopefully we'll make it 2 from 2 from the week and 6 from 7 on the run. And all that remains to be said with that is good luck, goodbye, and we'll be back tomorrow as long as we get a bet tomorrow with our first look at the Champions League roundup, the first Championship roundup, maybe a bet in Brazil, you never know. Be nice to everyone, stay safe, love you all, and see you tomorrow in the next podcast.